happy 1st of November. And I hope everybody had a good Halloween. Halloween was yesterday. Halloween's over. I had to take all my Christmas decorations down. I want to talk about this. I've been wanting to talk about Netflix, but I'm going to try to explain it the best way I can from a customer view. I'm not a big YouTuber, so I'm going to give you my view of, 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 of Netflix. But what I want to talk about is Warner Brothers wanting to sell the company to Paramount. I'm not a big Paramount guy. I seldom subscribe to Paramount. I'll subscribe to Paramount to watch like a show, and I can go to the theater and I could drop $9 to watch a movie, or sometimes I could just, if there's no movies to watch, if I see some on Paramount or Apple, I'll subscribe for a month and then I'll cancel. I actually, thanks to the comments that I don't never got comments, but I do get comments now, which is awesome. And the guy said, just subscribe. As soon as you subscribe, they take your money. He goes, but then turn around and cancel. He goes, don't wait. So just turn around and cancel. He goes, watch whatever you want to watch, and be at that, and settle it there, So it's a good idea. But when I listen to YouTubers talk about how they hate the fact that Netflix is wanting to try to get their paws in on Warner Brothers, I don't really want Netflix to buy Warner Brothers, to be honest with you. I don't want them to buy them at all. But would it kill me that they buy Warner Brothers? No. But you know what gets me? Nobody even says this. Whose fault is it? Whose fault is it that Warner Brothers is up for sale? Whose fault is it? I mean, you guys never come across that like that. It's Warner Brothers' fault that they're for sale. It was, when Disney came in and bought Fox up, everybody used to worship the ground that Disney used to walk on, but lately Disney's dropped the ball with a lot of movies. Their movies are not doing near as great as they used to like 4 or 5 years ago. But the point I'm making is this: whose fault is this that Warner Brothers is in the situation that they're in? Didn't Paramount just get bought out by somebody, and then now they're trying to, the company that owns Paramount is trying to buy Warner Brothers? And at the end of the day, you guys, this is Warner Brothers' fault. So when you go out here and you start throwing out this negativity about Netflix, and I get it, Netflix is Netflix. Netflix is just a churn. I know they're churn. A lot of people know they're churn. But they got so many irons in the skillet, man, or whatever, that there's, for every 8 trash stuff that they put out like 2 good things. Then they put out another 20 of trash stuff, and then they put out 5 good things. I don't know. They've always been that way. You remember when Netflix first started out, they had everybody's stuff on their platform. Everybody's stuff was on their platform. So if you want to get mad and get an attitude towards Netflix or anybody that's out there, I mean, even if Disney was to buy them, Disney would be like huge if they buy them. But I don't think Disney's in a financial situation to buy Warner Brothers after they sunk all that money into, Fox. And another thing you're going to have to understand too is when somebody buys somebody is definitely going to lose a job. Somebody's going to lose a job, man. It's as simple as that. When Disney bought Fox, they gutted that place. They gutted a lot of people. A lot of people lost their job. A lot of people lost their job when Skydance, I guess, took over on Paramount or something like that. I forgot. I don't know. You guys know, but I know they laid off a lot of people on Paramount. Now Paramount's laying off an additional 1,000 people. A lot of this is the company's fault. And then when they get themselves in a bind and the stuff, and they go overboard, and they got to sell off some of their stuff. Then you got other businesses that's not doing that bad. They want, if Netflix was to buy Warner Brothers, I think the only thing Netflix was going to get is that library they got. That's the only thing they would benefit from is the library. They benefit from the library. They would benefit from, I don't know how Netflix would even handle DC and all that kind of stuff, and Netflix is not a theater friendly company. You know, they like everything being on their site, but maybe they'll uh, put more stuff in theaters for like a couple weeks. Uh, but what I'm trying to get people to understand, if you're mad about Netflix, don't get mad at Netflix. Get mad at Warner Brothers. Warner Brothers is the reason why they're in the situation they're in. You know what I mean? So when you sit there and you got like I dropped my remote. You see, when you got uh, companies that are in a bind and the only way they could stop something is they gotta fix something is they gotta sell. Be honest with you, I don't want these companies to sell each other out. I want Paramount to stay Paramount. I want Warner Brothers to stay Warner Brothers. I want Sony to stay Sony. I want I wish Fox was still around. I just never did like Disney buying Fox, but Disney did buy Fox. Disney did buy Fox, and it's the way it is. And this little rant video. All I hear is people always ragging on Netflix. I've been with Netflix forever, you guys, and I do know they you guys, you gotta have common sense. They're into the churn. They're into the subscriber thing. You got YouTubers out here, man. They just want more subscribers, more subscribers, more subscribers. I think some YouTubers will sell their soul to the devil just to have a bazillion subscribers, man. There might be things that YouTubers don't even believe in, and they'll just support it because they got people that's on their channel, and they want to try to make everybody happy, and they're trying to scarf on all the all the subscribers that they can get. And some of them don't want to go to work. Like I go to work, I got a factory. I work in a factory. YouTube, I don't make no money off YouTube. Some of these people make money off YouTube, so they're very careful about how they approach things. You know what I mean? Like it's hard to explain, but these YouTubers kill me when they get on there and they talk about what they don't like, which is fine. I do the same thing. But what I'm saying is that they basically do the same thing. They're wanting more subscribers. I think it sucks when you get somebody on there they can't even talk long enough about him saying, well, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe button. I go like, there you had to go again. You had to just go there. How come you just I'm sitting in the chair saying this. Excuse me. I'm saying to myself, I'm watching TV like right here. My TV's right over there, and I sit there and go, why couldn't you just finish what you was talking about instead of talking about hitting the like button and subscribe button? It turns me off. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, it bugs me. And let me tell you about my sponsors to my sin, Save Your Balls. Like, oh, fuck. Do you really use that product? So when they sit there and talk all that crap, and then they get on there and talk about how they don't want Netflix to buy Warner Brothers, you can't. I mean, if you was Warner Netflix, if you could buy it, why not? I don't really want Netflix to buy Warner Brothers, tell you the truth. Yeah, I don't want Netflix to buy Warner Brothers. I think Netflix done a damn good job of how they went from everybody taking everything off their platform and starting their own streaming service, which a lot of them are not. A lot of them are struggling. That's why you got a lot of this stuff going on right now. And then Netflix seen the writing on the wall, so they started pumping out originals. They had to pump out originals for America. They started reaching out to foreign countries, started making a lot of good stuff from foreign countries, which foreign countries are making some good stuff. I still love my American films, though. Don't get me wrong. Stuff from Germany to even Russia there was a couple things from Russia I liked. There was things from Mexico I liked. There was movies from, Netflix has tapped into a lot of stuff. So you can say what you could say about them, but they ain't. I think they've done a tremendous job. And yeah, I know they were in the news about a month ago about the cartoon, which that was gross. And then the one I didn't even know anything about the cuties, but I found that out. But I get it. But at the end of the day, guys, I wish that all these movie industries, I'm just used to the old school, Warner Brothers, MGM, Universal, I'm just used to the old movie titles and their water towers at the top. I can't get into all the names. I know you had Fox, you had MGM, you had Warner Brothers, you had Paramount, Universal Studios, and when you see their little parking lots with the little water tower at the top, man, and they got WB and Paramount at the top. Oh man, I miss all that stuff, you guys. I do. But at the end of the day, it's their fault that their company is in a situation where they have to sell it off. Whoever would think 30 years ago, you probably say Warner Brothers selling the company, probably people would be like, man, you out your mind. Because I remember when Warner Brothers was creme de la creme, they was pumping out so much stuff. I think they were behind Lord of the Rings. They were behind all the Harry Potters. They got, they did that. They've got a lot of good stuff. So, I don't even want Netflix to buy it. That way you can shut these haters up. I hope they don't get it. That way you can shut these haters up, because Netflix squeaky clean? No. Disney squeaky clean? No. Paramount squeaky clean? No. Warner Brothers sneaky clean? No. All these companies have been responsible for pumping out a lot of garbage. A lot of garbage. All of them. All of them. There ain't no squeaky clean company out there. They all dipped their toe into the LGBTQ stuff, tried to get us to watch that stuff. They're all guilty of shoving messages down our throat, trying to get us programmed into thinking this way instead of just making a good movie. That's all I want to do. I just want to make a good movie. Because honestly, I don't hardly have any of that crap in my house. I only got a couple movies that got references to the LGBTQ thing. I don't even want to get on that kick. I don't want to be that channel talking about that stuff. I don't get into it. God made man, God made woman. I read the Bible every day. You read Sodom and Gomorrah, they tried to save the people, and God give this guy, Lot's wife turned into a pillar of salt, and there's men loving men, women loving women and stuff. Everything that we see today is going on back in there. So what I'm saying is that I'm just old school, you guys. I read the Bible. I don't get into that stuff, but I'm not going to be that channel that talks about that, is what I'm saying. So all of them's been guilty of stuff. All of them. All the companies. All of them. But at the end of the day, man, it is Warner Brothers' fault that Warner Brothers is up to sell. It was, I don't know who bought Paramount. Paramount merged with somebody. Y'all can correct me in the comments, but Paramount got in trouble. I guess a company called Skydance bought them or something like that. But it's just that, sorry about that. I keep stepped on my remote. But it's just that I was hearing talk about Netflix buying Warner Brothers, and I was sitting there going, Netflix buying Warner Brothers? They ain't gonna buy no Warner Brothers. If I was Netflix, ain't no way in heck I'd buy Warner Brothers. Because take for instance, if my channel grows, it'll grow because of me doing the things that I'm sticking to the same thing that I'm doing. I don't want to hate on nobody. I really don't. I just want this channel to grow slowly. But at the same time, this thing about Netflix might make Netflix is the OG. Everybody is trying to be like Netflix. Netflix built their platform, they built from the ground floor up. If you look at there's a guy that I used to be subscribed to, and I really like this guy, man, but he constantly talks about how he hates Netflix, how he hates this and how he hates that. Netflix ain't got nothing to do with your physical copies. Netflix ain't got not one damn thing to do with your physical copies. It's that all your companies have decided to join the streaming route, and that's where you fell. Netflix had nothing to do with it. Netflix was always over there by themselves. And then they had the COVID thing, and then everybody thought it'd be a good idea to start their own streaming services, but they found out it's not as easy as it is. It's not bad for Netflix because that's how they built their company. All these other places, like, we got this library of stuff, and we got this and we got that. Let's just make our own stream services. They thought it was cool, and they thought they was going to get subscribers, but now you got 70 or 80 streaming services you can subscribe to. You got a lot of churn, is what I'm saying. But Netflix still seems to be the king. All I'm saying, you guys, is a lot of times when you sit back and you think about stuff and you get upset about stuff, look at the source. Look at the damn source. God, Warner Brothers, if Warner Brothers was doing good, would they be up for sale? Ask yourself that question. They would not. This wouldn't even be talked about. If their stocks was like way high or whatever going on with Warner Brothers, I don't even want Warner Brothers to sell. I want Warner Brothers to be Warner Brothers. I don't want it to be Warner Brothers / Paramount Plus. I don't want that. I don't want HBO Max / Paramount Plus / whatever they're going to try to do, even if they merge. You know what I mean? A lot of times when your streaming services start buying giant studios up like that, that means that they got to make that money somewhere. That means that Netflix is going to have to jack that price up, I think. But this is not me saying, oh, I love Netflix, but I have had Netflix forever and a day. Forever and a day. I told you guys time and time again, I had Netflix and I never even watched it. I had a guy come over back in 2001. He said, hey, Vic, you got Netflix? I said, no, man, I never, I got cable. That's back when cable was big then. He said, let me show you the app. He showed me the app and I go, wow. And he said, you want to get it, man? I said, yes. So I got it and I had it and it was always sitting there and I click on it every now and then. I didn't start watching Netflix a lot until 2007, 8, and 9. That's when I started watching Netflix a lot. Other than that, I just had Netflix off in the corner somewhere. And then I got Shudder, and then I got MGM Plus. I like MGM Plus because they got From on there. But anyway, guys, all I'm saying is that if you look at, it's Warner Brothers' fault that they're up for sale. Apparently, they must have some debt they need to get out of. You know what I mean? Because I really don't want Netflix to buy Warner Brothers. I don't want Paramount to buy. I don't want Paramount to buy Warner Brothers. The only place I wouldn't mind buying Warner Brothers is Apple. And I don't know what Apple could do with Warner Brothers, but Apple TV now, they used to call it Apple Plus. I think Apple would be a better company to get them because they got a really nice streaming services, man. They just don't have that much, and what they do have is top notch quality. Apple TV used to be Apple Plus. Reminds me of HBO Max. When you had HBO Max, you knew you was getting top tier quality stuff. And Apple TV, which used to be Apple Plus, that's what Apple TV is doing now. So I'm just saying, for me, I don't care who buys it, but I do. Who would I want to buy them? At the end of the day, I don't want Netflix to buy them. That way everybody can get off the hate Netflix train. Nobody hated Netflix back when they were Netflix. They was just off in the corner somewhere. They were off in the corner somewhere. Back in the day, you'd be like, oh man, I feel like watching I don't know, Friends and Office. That's what you guys had this hard on for back in the day. And y'all would go to Netflix because Netflix, there was no streaming services back then. Everybody just dropped their stuff off on Netflix, and Netflix had Friends, they had The Office, they had Seinfeld, they had all the stuff that y'all like, and y'all would go and watch and binge watch your 15 seasons of whatever it was on their channel. But then when these companies started making their own streaming services, then they had their own streaming service. And then when COVID came into the picture, we was on lockdown. Then the streaming services, was getting, they was really, everybody was locked down at home. They had no choice but to watch TV. And then the streaming service became big. And then what really killed it, and y'all don't realize this too as well. Y'all don't realize this. I read an article the other day, and I'm not going to worry about the views. I read an article the other day where it says that movies that failed at the box office. That's what it said. And all these movies that failed at the box office, it's just these certain groups. It was an article I read. When it got released for physical, back when we used to buy physicals, before we got in love with the remote and sitting in the chair and not being able to move, and you got everything access to your fingers. When it came out to buy on Blu-ray and VHS, because VHS was still around, They profited. They profited when it was available to buy in a physical format. Now it's not like that because now everybody wants you to do things all digital. Even if it's digital, they still profit because it's digital. So they're making their money back. But the problem with digital is you got to rely on the internet. When you buy physical and you can grab it with your hands, if you just got electricity, then you just stick the disc in or the VHS, which most people have, Blu-ray and 4K and DVD. You can just pop the disc in. But since everybody fell in love with this all digital thing and you can buy it and it be on your thing, and now they're saying that you don't really own it, you're just using their site to watch that movie. So if you drop $30 for a movie, I've done it, you don't really own it. You just have access to it. So if they ever take that thing down, they might give you a warning and say, hey, you can get this off there because we're going belly up or something like that. I know in the back of my mind, let me tell you a story real quick. I bought a bunch of movies on digital, and I mean, it was a lot. I mean, a lot. Just go show you how I didn't think about stuff. And so when I changed my Gmail account, I lost sight of that. When I tried to recover it, but then when I recovered it, something kept clicking in saying you have to do this and that. So I called them up and they said, well, you give us $100 and something. I was like, why would I give you $100 and something to just get that back over? So I just let it go. And then there was tons and tons. It was 2 sites that I bought a bunch of digital movies on, and I don't have access to them no more. I don't even know how to recover them. Did I lose sleep over it? Not really. It's just a chance that you take. But in this room, those physicals that's sitting over there, and those physicals that's sitting over there, and these physicals that's sitting right here, man, and those physicals that's sitting, see those physicals? Those are all steel bookcases over there. All I'm saying is that now I have my collection of movies that I could actually pop in the disc and play. So I hope this makes sense. At the end of the day, when you see somebody's up for sale, and you might get mad at Paramount, or you might get mad at Disney, or you might get mad at Apple, or you might get mad at Netflix, get mad at the company that's up for sale. Whoever their management was, whoever was in charge of whatever they were doing, it's their fault that they're up for sale. They did something to put themselves in a bind. They got debt, and they're trying to get that debt off. And they're trying to get out of debt. And the best way to get out of debt is have somebody completely buy them out, and that way they can clean that debt out and go from there. But when you do that, a lot of people that got jobs is going to lose their job because one company's going to come in and get rid of a lot of people because they want to bring their people in, or they spent so much money acquiring that studio that they got to offset some of that money that they spent. It's a trickle down effect, y'all. I just hope this makes sense. Because I don't want you thinking like I'm so in love with Netflix, like Netflix can do no wrong. I told you about Netflix with those cartoons that had that gay reference in there, which really made me want to vomit. Then I didn't know nothing about the cutie, made me want to vomit. Then I know about all the streaming services that dips their toes in the LGBTQ. Now they got LGBTQ titles, which is good because I don't watch them. HBO Max got LGBT titles. Peacock got HBO titles. Not HBO titles. LGBTQ plus titles. They got it all referenced on there. Netflix even got it labeled on there. So, there's not one squeaky clean company out there, you guys. Nada. Even Apple's, as much as they got top-notch, creme de la creme stuff, they got LGBT stuff on there. So, and I'll be in my chair, I'll be in this gaming chair going like this, going like, I ain't watching that. Oh, man, that's got LGBT. I ain't watching that because I don't get into it. I don't get into it. Bible says you can be in this world, but not part of the world. I think that's right. You can be in the world, but not of the world. Something like that. I don't want to have nothing to do with that shit. I don't believe in it. God made man and God made woman. I love women. I ain't been with a woman in a long time. I've had so many bad breakups and all that kind of stuff, man, and trying to recover from all that stuff, man. And I thank God for where I'm at, and I feel like a brand new man. I got peace in this apartment. It's just me and my cat and my gym room and my two nice vehicles and my PlayStation 5s and Xbox 360s and PlayStation 3s and 4s and Xbox Series X and Xbox One X and PlayStation 5 and PlayStation 4 Pro and PlayStation 3. I'm fine, man. I'm fine. Collect my physical copies. God made this beautiful world out here. I can walk and see the changing seasons. So no, I'm good when it comes to relationship. But I'm just saying, y'all, at the end of the day, man, come on, man. Don't get mad at the company that's trying to buy that. They're just looking out for their bottom line, just looking out for themselves. There's most of these companies are going to gut Warner Brothers out if they do buy them, and then they're going to go from there. Or they're going to buy Warner Brothers and keep some top people on there and say, you work for us now, and you're going to be a separate thing from our company. We're going to still keep you as a Warner Brothers thing or a Warner Brothers title or something, but we own you. You know what I mean? So I hope this video makes sense. I hope you guys are doing good out there. God bless each and every one of you. And I got some new subscribers. I want to say a big thank you to you. So, yeah, I just don't want you thinking that I'm my favorite streaming services is Netflix and HBO Max and Shudder. And then it's Apple and Peacock and MGM Plus. And I switch them every now and then. I even turn them off. Sometimes I turn them off. I was like, I ain't watching none of these, so I turn them off. I just turn them off. I was like, I ain't watching them, so I turn them off. So I turn them off. It's as simple as that. Well, anyway, we'll catch you in the next video. We'll see you.